This is Camnet News. Welcome on board. My name is Sharon Kalimbula. The top stories on our desk. Chief MUKUNI appeals to political leaders to preserve some positions for women in the August 12th elections. Animal-human conflict in Livingstone leaves one woman wounded. 50 pupils test positive of COVID-19. In international news, South Africa planning on swapping ASTRAZENECA'S COVID-19 vaccine. And in sports news, Tottenham boss Jose Mourinho rejects speculation of England's captain SPURS' future. Join me shortly for the details.
2021 is finally here. Zambia is at the crossroads heading towards general elections this August. In the world where fake news, biased reporting on national issues has become the order of the day, in a world where social media in most cases spills lies and exaggerated information, insightful coverage, Zambia needs one media. Living in a country where people are slowly promoting tribalism, hatred, bitterness and revenge, political temperature is heating up and people's hearts are perplexed. Zambia needs one media. Zambia being a Christian nation living under the lordship of Jesus Christ, the nation cannot afford a compromised gospel. Zambia needs a prophetic media house. For hope, peace and unity, Zambia needs Camnet television. For non-biased, factual reporting, balanced opinion, accurate news coverage, Zambia needs Camnet television. For national projects and development of our beloved country Zambia, watch Camnet TV on channel 274 DSTV, channel 98 on Go TV and channel 106 on Topstar. Remember, Camnet TV is not just another channel.
Thanks for joining us. Chief MUKUNI of the Tokaleya-speaking people in Kazungola District, Southern Province, says his chiefdom has always prioritized women not only with land allocation, but decision-making as enshrined in the Leya tribe's custom. The traditional leader was speaking when the Non-Governmental Gender Coordinating Council, NGOCC, paid a courtesy call on him, appealed to political parties to introduce a system that preserves certain political elective offices for women, among them the mayoral and council chairperson positions. He says this will encourage more women to take up these positions without any difficulty. And NGOCC Programs Manager Monica Kanjimana says the participation of women at local government level is appalling, thus calling on traditional leaders to help bridge the gap and empower them in all spheres. Ms. Kanjimana notes that women continue being overlooked in decision-making owing to various factors that need to be averted. Ms. Kanjimana states that it is for this reason that NGOCC wants to see to it that more women contest the August 12th elections through what is known as a coordinated election strategy.
And a lot of villages that are villages and districts, we have given them title deeds to their traditional title deeds to their land. And if I was to take out certificates that women, young ladies, have entitled to that land, then you'll be saying you are wasting your time talking to me. With us, it's not. It's a tradition. So. Oh. Yes, it's a tradition. No. I sure say that the way we are, our structure, almost every position has got a gender and a male counterpart. It's been like that for centuries. The problem is, for other people, other chiefdoms, you are changing tradition. For us, it's the tradition.
So one of our key focus areas that we are addressing in this 2021, and really according to our strategy, is to encourage women participation in decision making by promoting more women to take up leadership roles, especially elected office. And as such, we have a strategy in place as NGOCC, and we're calling this the Coordinated Elections Campaign Strategy, or CAKES in short. And basically, we are trying to amass a critical mass of women, a cadre of women supporters, both men and women, who champion and promote these women to take up more roles. As you may be aware, Your Highness, the number of female parliamentarians are only 29 against 164 male MPs.
A woman has been wounded by a buffalo that was among 3 that made it into Livingstone main business center near the High Court. According to the senior Southern Regional Warden Officer Charles Simwawa, the 3 buffaloes have invaded the residential areas, thereby terrorizing residents, and by press time, 1 animal had been killed. Mr. Simwawa says the officers from the Department of the National Parks and Wildlife are on site to gun down the other 2 buffaloes. And an eyewitness said 1 buffalo that wounded a woman tried to enter the district's commissioner's office near the High Court before making its way into the golf club, where it was eventually killed as hundreds of police and Linda residents crowded wildlife officers hoping to get free meat. In other news, government has continued distributing relief food, tents and assorted materials in an effort to assist flood victims in the valley area of Sandwes Chiefdom of Lusangazi district of Western Province. The relief from government to the flood victims is being facilitated by the Disaster Management and Mitigation Unit DMMU is being airlifted to the valley area after more families have had their crops submerged in water, while some houses have collapsed and some roads have become impassable following heavy rains the area is receiving, causing flash floods. Zanis has more.
The valley area of Lusangazi district has been flooded following heavy rains being experienced over the past 1 month. The situation has left many families homeless and without food. However, government has listened to the plight of the flood victims and delivered relief food, tents and other materials to the area.
We had a flood on 24th January 2021. That was a Sunday, and the DMMU reacted so urgently to help relieve the problems that we had. This time, let me thank the government of the Republic of Zambia under the leadership of His Excellency Dr. Edgar Chagwalungu on acknowledging or responding to the disaster management that took us by surprise. He is not able to see anyone, not even one should die because of the hunger situation.
The quick relief response by the Disaster Management and Mitigation Unit, DMMU, has cheered the traditional leadership in the area.
Help that has come as of now gives hope to us, especially those that have been affected greatly. It's assistance that is going to help them go a long way and maybe see through to the other season, because at least they will have something to survive on. We are very grateful and thankful to the President.
And the beneficiaries are happy with the gesture. With relief food, tents and other essential materials being airlifted to the district, it is expected that the effects of flood on the affected families will be minimized in Sandwe Chiefdom area. Now Mwimba, Lusangazi district, Eastern Province.
The Civil Society Scaling Up Nutrition Alliance is disappointed over the inconsistencies in the distribution of relief food to Lunga District in Luapula Province by the Disaster Management and Mitigation Unit, DMMU. According to CSO Sun, DMMU last distributed the relief food to the district 4 months ago, despite the commitment to regularly support the hunger-stricken families. The 2,000 by 25 kilogram bags of mealie meal distributed only catered for 1 out of 4 chiefdoms on the island, which has a population of about 56,000 people. CSO Sun Country Coordinator Matthews Moro notes that Lunga, being an emergency stage of food security according to the Integrated Food Security Phase classification, relief food distribution in the area should be priority for DMMU to avert the potential hunger and nutrition crisis. Mr. Moro is also worried that the increasing number of people countrywide faced with different categories of hunger from 2.3 million people last year to 6.8 million people this year. He has since called on government to mobilize support from cooperating partners in order to effectively deal with the hunger situation in Zambia.
Civil Society Scaling Up Nutrition Alliance, we are concerned that the food interventions, especially with the food relief support that is coming from the disaster management unit to the people that are in emergency stage is very inconsistent. So our check from Luapula and Lunga in particular, where the district is in emergency stage of food insecurity, has actually revealed that Lunga only received about 2,000 bags of relief maize 4 months ago. So this makes the situation very, very difficult in the area, and the likelihood of cases of malnutrition increasing, as well as also just deaths associated with hunger, is very, very high. So we're calling on the disaster management unit and just the other government wings to see how they can mobilize cooperating partners and other partners to just support their efforts, if at all they don't have the means to support just the relief food needs of the people who are faced with different categories of hunger. So we've also noted with concern that the food security situation of the country is worsening, with a population of about 6.8 million people currently facing different categories of hunger. So this really needs proactive strategies that would remove the country from a worsening food security situation, as this would result in high cases of malnutrition, and just the fight against malnutrition would not yield any results.
Residents of Zambezi West Bank have bemoaned the poor state of the road infrastructure in the area, citing lack of a bridge on the Litapi River. The situation has forced many civil servants working in the area fail to access banking facilities at the Zambezi Boma. And when crossing Litapi River, some people are using ox carts. However, the move is proving to be difficult and dangerous undertaking. They have since called on government to address the issue soon. The Foundation for Democratic Process, FODEP, has urged President Edgar Lungu and the Patriotic Front members of Parliament to leave a lasting legacy by deferring their gratuity to 2024 in order to facilitate the payment of retirees their terminal benefits. FODEP Executive Director George Chimembe says the move would enable the Ministry of Finance to reserve some funds to be able to pay the retirees. Mr. Chimembe is disappointed that retirees who served the nation diligently with dedication and honor are now living in destitution owing to the failure to timely access their money. And he regrets that the Human Rights Commission has not taken interest to look into the welfare of retirees.
In the process, these retirees who served the nation diligently and with honor and dedication are now a sorry sight of destitute and undignified senior citizens. It's a pity that institutions such as the Human Rights Commission, which should have stood with these senior citizens, have kept a safe distance. FODEP is challenging the PF government to walk the talk and boldly demonstrate that it is truly a pro-poor government which is ready to practically embrace and live out the much talked about national values enshrined in the Constitution. In the wake of the retirees' plight and destitution, FODEP is at great pains, to properly find meaning to such values as human dignity.
Now, as the country heads towards the August general elections, Gears Initiative Executive Director McDonald Jipenzi has noted the need to ensure that cybersecurity and data protection laws earmarked for enactment do not stifle media freedoms. Mr. Jipenzi has called for the conducive environment ahead of the August general elections. Speaking during the launch of the 2020 fourth quarter State of the Media report in Lusaka Wednesday, Mr. Jipenzi notes with concern that media violation becomes rampant during elections, hence the need to protect the industry from political violence. Patrick Soko has the details.
Free and fair election is not only about freedom to vote and the knowledge of how to cast a vote, but also the participatory process where voters engage in public debate and have adequate information about parties, policies, candidates, and the election process itself in order to have informed choices, and that is an illustration of the importance of the media. The 2020 fourth quarter report, pioneered by MISA Zambia, the BBC Media Action, and the Friedrich Ebert Stiftung, highlighted a number of social, political, and economic challenges that continue to affect the media industry in the country. MISA Zambia Programs Manager Jane Chirwa says in order to fulfill their role, the media needs to maintain a high level of professionalism, accuracy, and impartiality in their coverage.
But I would like to state that actually, out of these reports that we've been doing, we were able to pick up the trends and carry out interventions as MISA Zambia. And we saw actually a reduction. In 2019, we had 36 very severe cases of media freedom violations. But through our interactions with the various stakeholders and the launch of this report and the evidence we presented to various policymakers, including the Zambia police, we saw actually in 2020 record only 17 severe cases of media freedom and freedom of expression violations. So this is a very good indication that these reports are having an impact, and those that are receiving these reports, they are acting on them.
Speaking on behalf of the Friedrich Ebert Stiftung Zambia, the organization's programs manager, Kathy Short, said they are ready to complement efforts to ensure decent wages for journalists.
Yes, represents the German labor movement, so labor issues are also part of who we are. So we are ready to provide that platform and also help in that process in any way that we can, so that we can protect the journalists so that they can work in a conducive environment, because journalists are very, very important.
GEAR's Initiative Executive Director McDonald Chipenzi says the media is essential to democracy, and a democratic election is impossible without the media.
Government embarks on the development of media and communication policies, including laws, in addition to the drafting of bills such as Cyber Security and Crimes Bill, Anti-Terrorism Bill, Zambia Correction Service Bill, and Electoral Process Amendment Bill, among others. We must all be on high alert not to allow the guarding of the media from playing its key role during elections. Instead, these new laws or amendments to these laws should open frontiers for easy access to electoral information, for the media to discharge its key roles of educating and informing the public and electorate on the electoral information without hindrance or interference. There is also a need to educate the electorate on fair and responsible use of social media platforms. And
at the same meeting, the police also assured to play their role by ensuring effective policing of elections. On
the ground knows this. We are going to train, in fact trainings will start very soon. 21,000 police officers will be trained, and we've developed a training module on police media relations. So that module is still there. But above all, when we're out there in the field, our advice is that please, it's not a mandate, but it's important that let the commander on the ground knows about your presence.
Patrick Soko, Camnet News in Lusaka.
A disability organization has called on political parties participating in this year's general elections, slated for August 12th, to consider allocating senior positions such as that of presidential running mate to persons with disability. Bonshot Livingstone Executive Director Talasha Chisha notes that this will ensure that matters affecting differently abled persons in the country are given necessary attention. Article 29 of the Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disability states that the rights of persons with disability to participate in political and public office without discrimination on an equal basis with others, and it calls upon state parties to guarantee those rights. And Mr. Chisha says as an organization they will be meeting front runners in the presidential race once they conclude their various party conventions to present their written requests and advance the advantages of making such bold decisions. Meanwhile, Mr. Chisha has called on differently abled persons to make themselves available for such positions if the status quo is to change.
We observe with concern that differently abled persons have for a long time been neglected due to insufficient representation in governance issues, and hence the need to incorporate them in key decision-making positions. This is a vital aspect of combating exclusion and inequality and leaving no one behind. Taking such a bold action will break the discriminatory and segregatory barriers that currently exist in our politics, where there is less participation from the differently abled persons due to lack of inclusiveness. We, however, call upon and challenge differently abled persons to make themselves available for such positions if the status quo is to change. Article 29 of the Convention on the Rights of People Living with Disabilities clearly states the rights of persons with disabilities to participate in politics and public life without discrimination and on an equal basis with others.
Still to come in the news, 50 pupils test positive of COVID-19. Stay with us.
From time immemorial, we have had different types of lighting options, from those that can burn down our investments in minutes to those that dig holes in our pockets due to constant replacement and huge consumption of our ZESCO units. Savenda Electric introduces the new and advanced electric bulb with cutting-edge technology of LED that has low power consumption, gives out bright white light, and lasts up to 25,000 hours. Savenda Electric manufactures all types of LED light, like plastic LED fluorescent tubes, down lights, ceiling lights, outdoor fittings, and solar street lights made to customer specifications. Let's live on the bright side of life by choosing the wide range of Savenda electric lighting solutions that are available in all leading stores and supermarkets countrywide. For orders, call 0962 642 490 or email jnbunda@savenda.com or pchabula@savenda.com.
Consistency and being helpful is encouraged at Chadley House School.
Good morals are held in high esteem.
The first thing that we normally look at is the social distancing, hand washing, also sanitizing.
The Chadley House School curriculum looks at two pathways, which are academic and vocational.
The Chadley House School fleet of buses operate on various routes.
The Chadley House School e-learning program has been time efficient and learner-centered.
Well, at Chadley House School, e-learning was done in two phases. We had one on WhatsApp and another on Google Classroom.
The kind of sporting activities that we offer at Chadley House School are basketball, volleyball, football, netball, chess, and also swimming.
about MSika? Do you know that you can advertise for as low as 150 kwacha for 30 seconds? Well, MSika is here. Advertise on MSika between 17 hours and 18 hours. Just tell us about the services that you offer and we'll gladly put you on the market. For more details, you can contact
+260 953 995099 +260 962 444 726 or +260 971 177 467.
MSika, allowing your business to grow.
Welcome back. Thank you so much for staying on. Minister of Health Jonas Chanda says 50 pupils have so far tested positive of COVID-19 in the country. Dr. Chanda says over 6,500 students have so far been screened, and most of those who have tested positive of the virus are from Southern Province. The health minister says a team of infection prevention and control, environment health and surveillance experts are continuously providing context and specific guidance to schools around the country. Dr. Chanda also says day scholars in various institutions who tested positive to the virus will be managed from home while their contacts will be traced and school environments sanitized. The minister says the positive cases in boarding schools will also be isolated and their contacts quarantined and tested to ensure the risk of further spread is mitigated. And the minister also says that the country has recorded 20 new COVID-19 deaths in the last 24 hours, the highest in nearly a week. Meanwhile, 963 new COVID cases have also been recorded out of 6,747 tests conducted within the last 24 to 72 hours. Meanwhile, Goodwill Ambassador for Persons with Disability Elijah Ngwale says persons with disabilities are not benefiting from the COVID-19 prevention materials being distributed across the country. Mr. Ngwale says persons with disability, especially the blind, have challenges in maintaining social distancing, hence the need to be assisted with sanitizers and other preventive materials. And Mr. Ngwale has also accused some abled persons of taking advantage of the differently abled persons as a means of making money. Prudence Chota filed this report.
COVID-19 has left a permanent scar that will forever be in the books of the world. While the global economy is slowly recovering from the pandemic under the new normal, some sectors have continued to suffer the impact of the virus, and one such sector is that of persons living with disabilities. Goodwill Ambassador for Persons with Disabilities Elijah Ngwale says persons with a disability have not benefited from the COVID-19 preventive materials being distributed in the country.
One, there is that one social distancing, for example. When you are as blind as I am, you cannot keep social distancing. There must be propinquity, proximity, and adjustments between you and that one we cited. They guide you. Because if you keep social distancing, then you are going to fall into the drainage and so on and so forth. And the other one is the distribution of what? Sanitizers. They are not reaching the persons with the disabilities. And the other one is you must continuously be monitored. Now that one is it's not just there for persons with abilities. So in short, I would say persons with abilities, sensitize, sanitize, don't stigmatize. All of you, sensitize, sanitize, don't stigmatize.
Mr. Ngwale has also described the state of the Zambian Board for Persons with Disabilities as being in limbo, as nothing is being done to reinstate new board members since it was dissolved last year.
The Zambia Agency for Persons with Disabilities, that one, the board dissolved in last year March, and nothing is being done about it. This idea that somebody appoints herself as a chief executive officer, director general, last year or it's not the year left, and nobody is doing about it. It's really, it hurts as persons with disabilities.
The ambassador has since called on persons living with a disability to rise and have their voices heard.
In obscurity. So you must stand up and be counted, fight for your rights. In conclusion, I've got this to say. Our Lord Jesus Christ said, and I quote, "Seek ye the kingdom of God first, and everything would follow." Kwame Nkrumah, the first president of the Republic of Ghana, said this, and I quote, "Seek ye political kingdom first, and everything would follow." I'm saying to you, persons with abilities, seek ye human rights first, and everything would follow.
One thing that is for sure is that it is difficult for persons living with a disability to follow all the 5 golden rules of preventing the spread of the virus, as they depend on others for help. Prudence Tota for Camnet TV News.
Still on COVID stories, the Emerald and Semi-Precious Mining Association of Zambia President Victor Kalesha has demanded that the current price for the COVID-19 test certification in the country be reduced with immediate effect. Mr. Kalesha was at Ndola Teaching Hospital Wednesday, where he noted that Ndola Teaching Hospital is currently charging 1,500 kwacha for an express test certificate and 500 kwacha for an ordinary test certificate for those planning to travel outside the country. He says the price is exorbitant and has the potential to exacerbate corruption if not well handled. Mr. Kalesha says government should not take the pandemic as an advantage for making money. He says COVID-19 test certification should have been done for free, considering that no medicine is given in the process. Mr. Kalesha has since appealed to the Health Minister, Dr. Jonas Chanda, to intervene in this matter.
You cannot not subject people to paying 1,500 kwacha and you call it express to get a COVID test. Are we really rejoicing into this calamity that it will be bringing us money? Yes, if they say you have to pay because the chemicals and the what and the facilities that they are using, quite all right. But why 1,500 kwacha? Why 500 kwacha? It means a poor Zambian who wants to travel to a country like Malawi, and they don't even have the money. They may have bus fare, which bus fare is less than 1,000 from Lusaka to Malawi. Are they going to be subjected to pay 1,500 kwacha? We are killing our own country, which is not fair. It may not be, I'm speaking as a Zambian. If it's happening in any other country, as a Zambian, the economy is bad, money is scarce, and I think this is a serious issue. If it could be addressed at the level of ministerial level, because this is how it started with the yellow fever card.